Hello, beautiful people. My name is Larissa and welcome to my YouTube. Today, I want to be sharing my thoughts on the difference between a 100% raw vegan diet and a more raw till 4 style, high raw kind of diet, because I have a lot of experience with both and they're both really great ways to eat and nourish your body and really use food as a fuel and as a resource for healing rather than just eating what everyone else is eating and not really being mindful of what you consume and put in your body. And I think both ways of eating are super beneficial. I think there's a lot of benefits to either, just depending on you as a person, where you're at in your journey, and what you're really wanting from a healthy diet and previous health conditions and all sorts of things, where you live. That makes a big difference as well. And I've lived and traveled in a few different kinds of places since I've been vegan, and I've eaten a mostly raw diet the whole time I've been vegan, which it's been almost 5 years now. And so I've seen what it's like to eat in different kind of environments, either 100% raw or mostly raw, high raw. So yeah, I have a lot of experience with it, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it because I know a lot of people have questions on which way is the best way to eat, what they should do for themselves, and kind of what the difference is. And even though it's a small change, because typically people that eat 100% raw, in my opinion, if you're gonna do it most optimally, you'll typically have a big meal of fruit for breakfast, a big meal of fruit for lunch, and then a completely raw salad with lots of greens and different veggies and usually some fat at the end of the day. And most of us tend to typically stick to the 80-10-10 rule of about 80% of your calories from carbohydrates, which is mostly like the sweet fruits you eat during the day, and then 10% of overall calories from fat, and then 10% from protein, which you usually get most of those at the end of the day in your salad with like nuts, seeds, veggies, all that kind of stuff. And whether I'm eating 100% raw or high raw, I basically stick to those macro ratios because that is what makes me feel my best. That is what keeps my blood sugar and insulin levels where they should be, and is what's going to give you the most energy, because our cells, all of our cells in our body are fueled by carbohydrates. So when you're getting them from the raw whole food plants in their natural form, the fruits especially, are really going to energize your body during the day, and then the salads at night are going to make you feel more satiated at the end of the day and give you the other nutrients that your body needs for growth and repair, rather than like energy. That is what really mainly carbohydrates are for. So when I'm not eating strictly raw, I still have breakfast and lunch the same, just fruit, usually a smoothie or a smoothie bowl, or chopped up fruit in its whole form, whatever I can get my hands on that is in season and ripe and optimal. That's what I stick to, and that hasn't changed for years, and it's literally changed my life, eating lots and lots of fruit, because as humans we are frugivores, so it makes sense to eat a lot of fruit and feel our best that way. And what's important is keeping that fat low, like I said, because otherwise too much fat in our diet is going to cause insulin resistance if we're having a lot of these high carbohydrate rich fruits. So the key is to keep your fat low and stick to obviously plant-based fats. So you know, I definitely don't recommend eating animal products, because there's just too many health concerns when it comes to those non-foods for humans. We're not designed to eat animal products, and I have other videos on that if you want to check that out. But basically the key, whether you're eating 100% raw or high raw, raw till 4 kind of style, is to eat lots of fruit during the day for breakfast, lunch, and snacks. It's really gonna fuel you. You're gonna feel amazing, and your body is gonna completely transform when you eat lots and lots of fruit. So go for it. So then for dinner, if I'm not eating 100% raw, I still pretty often have a big dinner salad, but sometimes I like to add sweet potato or brown rice or lentils or white potatoes, just different high carbohydrate sources. And I'm usually more so in the mood for something like that rather than a raw salad if I haven't had a lot of high quality fruit during the day, like maybe a lot of fruit is out of season, or if for whatever other reasons I didn't get as much carbohydrate rich fruits in during the day, and so I'm wanting to get extra carbs in at night. And I could have fruit with my salad, but by the end of the day I'm usually craving more savory foods, and I honor that for my body. And I just really enjoy the taste of sweet potatoes and rice and lentils or beans sometimes, and those foods feel very like grounding and nourishing to me. So if I'm in the mood for something a little more heavy and satiating besides just a raw veggie salad with a nut-based dressing or a seed-based dressing or avocado or whatever, usually it's like a higher fat salad, yeah, I tend to gravitate more towards the heavier carbs at the end of the day. And not only is it just because sometimes I eat plenty of fruit, I got plenty of carbohydrate calories from fruit during the day, but sometimes I'm still in the mood for those cooked starches. And once again, I just honor my body, and I know like, okay, this is a high carbohydrate food, it's full of fiber, it's full of nutrients. Even if it's cooked, you're not gonna completely kill it for cooking it. I mean, of course, don't brown and burn your foods, because that creates acrylamides, which are carcinogenic. So that's one of the reasons why eating a completely raw diet is great, because you are getting a lot more antioxidants and all of the nutrients, because many are killed in the cooking process. But when you're eating about 80% to 90% of your food raw anyway, like, it's really nothing to worry about. So for those of you out there that are stressed about sticking to a raw diet because you keep, craving sweet potatoes or rice, or you keep going back to eating cooked food and this stresses you out because you want to stick to a strictly raw diet, well, honestly, stress is oftentimes worse for our health than, sticking to a perfect diet. And we should really be sticking to consistency over perfection. We should be sticking to what's sustainable long term for us to be healthy, which eating cooked root vegetables and cooked whole grains and other kinds of foods that are whole plant foods, that are minimally processed, like, overall you're on the right track and you're eating very, very healthy. So it's nothing to stress about. If you can't stay 100% raw, I mean, anyone can. We all can accomplish that. But if it is negatively affecting your mental health and your stress levels, then what would be healthier for you is to eat more carbs at night. Carbs make you feel so good, and starches, like I said, make me personally feel very grounded at the end of the day, because when you're on a strictly raw diet like I have been, it's amazing, and honestly I think the health benefits are greater. I will definitely, that's why I'll always go back to 100% raw through periods of time in my life, especially if I'm somewhere where there's an abundance of amazing fruit and good quality produce that I can use to make delicious, amazing salads. I feel my absolute best eating 100% raw, but I will always honor all the different phases and stages that I go through as a human, that my body goes through, that my emotions go through. And I realize that life is a constant flow of changes, and I do know that one thing that's never going to change is I'm always going to be vegan, and I'm always going to be eating lots of raw fruits and vegetables, because in this lifetime, I feel like I just discovered, a hidden secret of truth when it comes to health and longevity and feeling amazing. And it's mostly because I've tried the paleo thing, I've tried the high fat, high protein, I've done all of that. But once I discovered this way of eating, and then I researched the science and I really listened to how my body was feeling and listened to my intuition and to just the obvious truths of nature. Like, once again, I have a really great video that's not too old, and it's talking about how humans are frugivores. I highly recommend it if you want to learn like really the obvious truths of why we are not designed to eat meat, we are not carnivorous animals, and we are actually frugivores. We are primates, just like, you know, monkeys and lemurs and all these other primates, and they base their diet on fruit. So that's how we originally ate as a species, and that's how we should be eating today, because our biology and physiology is still the same. Yes, we've adapted to different ways of eating, but is adapting to a survival kind of way of eating, and then down the road we start realizing, oh, when we eat a lot of this, you know, food, that these animal products, it actually kills us. Like, I don't think we're really that adapted to it if it kills us. Like, the number one cause of death in, I believe, the Western world, or maybe the whole world, is heart disease, and that is strongly linked to the consumption of animal products. But yeah, anyway, I just want to say, you know, my opinion and my thoughts overall are that either way of eating, whether it's 100% raw or high raw, is an amazing way to eat, and whatever works for you where you're at. You don't have to be 100% raw forever. You don't have to be stuck in you know, eating cooked food and feeling bad because you want to be 100% raw. Like, don't let that rule you. Let your body communicate with you, and make sure you eat enough food. That's the other thing that is going to lead to binging or stressing. So definitely, if you're a woman, I highly recommend eating around 2,500 calories or more, because I'm super active and I eat close to 3,000 calories, and that's what I need to like maintain and stay in good shape. And like, don't be afraid of calories, don't be afraid of carbohydrates and sugar from fruit. Like, the whole myth behind sugar being bad for us, I mean, sure, processed sugar isn't the best, but processed oil and fat from animal products is a million times worse than processed sugar. Trust me, because I was diagnosed with insulin resistance, which is pre-diabetes, and I was eating, you know, pure crap. Obviously, I grew up on a standard American diet, but I took all the sugar and all the gluten and all the carbohydrates out of my diet for years and never fixed the problem, never reversed my insulin resistance until I took out all the fat. I mean, not all of the fat. We need a healthy amount of fat. Like I said, about 10% of your calories a day from healthy plant food, whole food, plant fat sources. So definitely don't completely avoid fat. You need it to be healthy. But take out all the refined fats, like the oils and the butters, or the plant-based butters, anything like that that's processed, the vegan cheeses, all the animal products, because they all contain really high amounts of saturated fat and cholesterol, which will just clog you up. Not good. And then your body will be insulin sensitive. So when you eat fruit sugar or sweet potatoes or brown rice, or, you know, other whole grains, your body will be able to utilize that sugar for energy effortlessly. It's the fat that gets in the way and is the real problem. So when it comes to eating a high raw or 100% raw diet, the key is to keep the fat low, like I said. And then real quick, I also just wanted to, I guess, kind of mention the differences I've noticed in being 100% raw versus just having that cooked meal at night. And it's not even a cooked meal, like I said, it's usually a big raw salad with like some cooked like vegetable matter or plant matter on the side or mixed in. I think it's really important to have those raw greens and veggies with your cooked food. Like, those enzymes really help digest. So that's another little tip right there, is having like a raw salad with your cooked meal at night. I think that's really helpful, and it's been really helpful for my digestion. But yes, that is one of the things that you will see a slight difference in. And it's only slight if you stick to very clean cooked foods. Definitely if I eat out at a restaurant that, you know, uses oils and other kind of foreign products that I wouldn't usually cook with at home or put in my body. But I've become more relaxed and chill about, you know, eating restaurant food here and there, and like, you know, I've started eating more cooked food here and there as well, like on a more regular basis. So, and my body has felt okay with that lately. But in the beginning of my vegan journey and eating raw and healing from all the health issues I had from eating a standard American diet, my body was a lot more sensitive to anything that was inflammatory and harder to digest. So I did need to go through that phase of being 100% raw for like at least a year. But, you know, depending on where you're at and what you're dealing with, it might need to be longer. You might not need to do 100% raw at all. Just, it's up to you, and you should feel it out for yourself. But in that beginning stage, if I ate raw for 3 months and then had a little bit of rice or something, it bloated me and it made me feel inflamed. Whereas now I can handle a little restaurant food here and there, and I can eat cooked foods more often. But I really healed my gut and strengthened my gut microbiome over the years, and have strengthened my body as a whole. So it's just about feeling out how you feel. And if you eat something and it doesn't make you feel right, then don't eat it. Maybe try again, you know, 6 months later, see if your body can handle it then. Or just don't worry about it. You don't have to eat whole grains. You don't have to eat sweet potatoes. Like, I've learned that you can actually sustain yourself on a 100% raw diet, and it's actually the healthiest way to eat, and you'll feel amazing as long as you're getting, you know, variety and eating enough. So you can do that. You don't need the cooked foods, but if you want them and they still make you feel good, then that's great. You know, just do what feels good to you. You don't have to fit yourself into any trend or box. That's a huge thing, and that's what will really affect your mental health if you let that get to you. And then another thing that another like small difference is I would say on 100% raw, my skin was the best, like it always is the best that it's ever been when I eat 100% raw for long periods of time. And that was one thing that I struggled with a lot and like was on a mission to heal, along with my insulin resistance and Epstein-Barr virus and tons of inflammation that would show up in many different ways in my body. But my skin was really bad before I was vegan, and when I've gone through periods of being 100% raw, it's like amazing. And it's one thing that always encourages me to keep eating lots and lots of raw food, is just to have glowing, nice skin. But definitely if I eat the restaurant food and get some oils into my body, and what keeps me from eating a lot of cooked food, and especially like big cooked meals without a salad on the side, is definitely I notice, you know, my skin not being as clear, but it's still much better than it's ever been. And as far as when I'm eating cooked, as long as I stick to mostly like sweet potatoes and really clean carbohydrate sources with good food combining, like not combining fat and high carbohydrate foods together, I usually am still fine. It's mostly just oils and when I eat at restaurants, and high fat foods, and even high fat raw foods. Like if you buy like a raw cheesecake or you go to a raw restaurant, and a lot of the times they use a lot of oils, coconut oil and olive oil, so that will also affect my skin even though it's completely raw. So what I've noticed is it's mostly like the really high fat foods that have an effect. But yeah, overall, oh yeah, actually one of the biggest things that has affected my skin over the years, no matter what I eat, is stress. Stress for me, I've noticed it doesn't matter what I eat. If I'm stressed, that will usually cause my skin to flare up either way. So that's why once again, a huge reason I meditate every day exercise, do all these things to keep my stress levels low, because health is holistic. It's not just about the food, it's about all things that we can do to make ourselves feel our best and to be our healthiest versions. So it's not just one little fix that's gonna fix everything. I mean, of course, getting the animal products out of your diet will change your life, even if you change nothing else, but it's probably gonna propel you to change like all aspects of your health. I mean, I would hope so. Like, that's at least, that was my experience. So and your experience might be different, but when it comes to health, that was the starting point for me. And yeah, I've had so many positives come from that, because I have deepened my spirituality. I've really overcome mental health problems that I dealt with in the past, with lots of anxiety and depression, and I haven't had to deal with any of that as badly as I used to in so long. So I am so grateful for that. And yeah, overall, it's just been a great experience being vegan and eating plants. So I highly encourage anybody to do that. And I highly encourage everybody to eat lots and lots of fruit and lots of raw foods. You don't have to be 100% raw to be healthy, but I do believe you should eat a lot of raw fruits and veggies, because that is definitely important for your health. You need those living enzymes and that living energy in the food. It really lights your body up, trust me. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any other questions about this topic, let me know, because there's a lot that, you know, goes into all of this, and I would be happy to clear anything up. But this is just my experience, and I know it's a similar experience for a lot of people as well. So I know I'm not the only one, but if you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see the videos that I make in the future. Check out my older ones if you're interested. And you can also find me on Instagram if you'd like to check me out there as well. And I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon for the next video. Bye!